I had spent 6 months saving for our graduation trip, so when Olivia called me 2 days before we were supposed to leave, I answered with a smile. "Tell me you're ready," I said. "I'm already thinking about the beach. I need to talk to you, Ethan." Her voice made my smile disappear. "What happened?" "I'm not going on the trip." I sat up. "What?" "I'm sorry." "No. Wait. You can't just say you're sorry. We leave Friday." "I know." "Olivia, we planned this for months. I booked the hotel. I paid for the flights." "I know, Ethan." "Then why are you canceling?" She was silent for a moment. "Ryan is back." My stomach tightened. "Ryan?" "My ex. I know who Ryan is. He came back yesterday. He wants to see me." I stared at the wall. "So you're choosing him over our graduation trip?" "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" "I just need to see him." "Why?" "I don't know. I have questions. We ended badly, and now he's back." I laughed once, but there was no humor in it, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. "I thought you would understand." "Understand what?" "That our trip means less to you than one conversation with your ex." "Stop making this bigger than it is." "Bigger than it is?" "Yes." I looked at the suitcase beside my desk. I had packed it 2 nights earlier. "Olivia, I saved for this. I planned everything because I thought we were celebrating together." "I know. Do you still love me?" She didn't answer. That silence hurt more than any word could have. "Olivia, I care about you." That wasn't my question. "I don't know what I feel right now." I closed my eyes. "So you need time with Ryan to figure out whether you still love me?" "Ethan, please don't do this." "Do what?" "Make me feel guilty." I swallowed the anger rising in my throat. "I'm not making you feel guilty. I'm asking you to be honest." "I'm being honest." "Then tell me the truth." "I want to see Ryan." I nodded even though she couldn't see me. "Fine. Fine. Go see him." "You're not angry?" "I didn't say that." "I knew you'd understand." "No, Olivia. I understand that you made your choice." I ended the call before my voice could break. For several minutes, I didn't move. I looked at the 2 plane tickets on my desk. My name was printed beside hers. Then my phone rang again. It was Chloe. "Hey," she said. "Did Olivia call you?" "Yeah." "And?" "Our trip is cancelled." There was a pause. "What happened?" "Ryan came back." Chloe sighed. "Oh, Ethan." "I'm fine." "You're lying." "I'm not." "You are. You always say you're fine when you're trying not to fall apart." I looked at the tickets again. She chose him, Chloe. "Then let her." I heard my mother, Sarah, knock on my bedroom door. "Ethan, are you okay?" "Yeah, Mom." She looked at my face and said, "You don't have to pretend with me." "I know. But you are." I looked away. "You keep calling it love," Chloe said, "but you're the only one fighting for it." Her words stayed with me long after the call ended. I spent the next hour staring at my phone, waiting for Olivia to call again. She didn't. Instead, Chloe texted me. "Chloe, come outside." I walked downstairs and found her waiting near the front gate. "You didn't have to come," I said. "Yes, I did. I'm okay." "You already used that lie on me." I sighed. "Fine. I'm not okay." "Good. Now we're being honest." I sat on the steps. I don't understand how someone can change their mind so quickly. She probably didn't change it today. "What do you mean?" "I mean, she may have been thinking about Ryan for a while." I looked down. "That makes it worse." "I know. I planned everything, Chloe. I even bought her that necklace she wanted." "Then keep it." "I bought it for her." "And she canceled the trip for her ex." I didn't answer. Chloe sat beside me. "Ethan, listen to me. You didn't lose someone who was perfect for you." "I loved her." "I know. I still do." "I know that too." "Then why does everyone make it sound so easy?" "Because it's not easy, but staying stuck won't make it better." I rubbed my face. I thought graduation would be different. "How?" "I thought we'd leave together, travel somewhere beautiful, talk about our future, and come home ready to start our lives. And now I'm sitting here wondering if she ever saw that future with me. My phone suddenly vibrated. I looked at the screen. It was an unknown number. "Who is it?" Chloe asked. "I don't know." I answered. "Hello? Is this Ethan Carter?" "Yes. Who's calling?" "My name is James Wilson. I'm an attorney." I straightened. "An attorney?" "Yes. I represent an estate connected to your late father." I froze. "My father?" "Yes. What does this have to do with me?" "I need to meet you in person." "Why?" "There are documents I need to give you." "What kind of documents?" "I can't discuss everything over the phone." I looked at Chloe. "When?" "Tomorrow morning." "Can you at least tell me why you're contacting me now?" There was a short pause. "Your father left specific instructions." My heart started beating faster. "What instructions?" "He ordered me not to contact you until after your college graduation." I couldn't speak for a moment. "Why?" "I don't know if you'll believe me, Ethan, but your father wanted you to receive something only when you were old enough to make your own decisions." "What did he leave me?" "That's something we need to discuss tomorrow." "Mr. Wilson, my father died years ago. What could he possibly have left?" "Something much more important than money." The call ended. I lowered my phone slowly. Chloe stared at me. "What did he say?" I swallowed. "He said my father left something for me." "What?" "I don't know." "Are you going?" I looked toward the house. Then I looked at the suitcase still waiting upstairs. For the first time that day, my thoughts weren't about Olivia. "Yes," I said. "I'm going." Chloe smiled faintly. "Good." I stood up. "Tomorrow morning." She nodded. "Maybe this isn't the end of your story, Ethan." I looked at the dark screen of my phone. For some reason, I believed her. The next morning, I arrived at James Wilson's office 10 minutes early. I had barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Olivia's face. Then Ryan's name appeared in my thoughts. James stood when I entered. "Ethan Carter." "Yes." "I'm James Wilson. Please, sit." I sat across from him. "You said my father left something for me." "I did." "What is it?" James placed an old leather folder on the desk. "This belonged to Daniel Carter." I stared at it. I haven't seen that folder before. I expected that. "Why?" "Because your father kept this part of his life very private." I frowned. "What part?" James opened the folder. "Your father had a business partner named Marcus Reed." "My father had a business partner?" "Yes." "I thought he worked for a construction company." "That is what most people believed." I looked at the documents. "So my father lied to us." "I wouldn't call it a lie. I would call it a secret." "That doesn't make me feel better." James pushed a document toward me. "Read the first page." I picked it up. The numbers made my head spin. What am I looking at? Ownership records. For what company? A technology company called Carter Reed Systems. I looked up. Carter Reed. Yes. My father's name is on it. Correct. How much did he own? James paused. 25%. I almost laughed. 25% of a company I've never heard of. That company is worth considerably more today than it was when your father invested. How much? James looked directly at me. Enough to change your life. I leaned back. Why didn't my father tell me? I can't answer that. You knew him. I knew some parts of him. What happened to his shares? They remain protected under a legal agreement. And now that you have graduated, they belong to you. I stared at him. You're saying I inherited a company stake. I'm saying you inherited the ownership your father left behind. I looked down at the folder. For years, I had believed my father left me nothing. Now I had no idea what to believe. There's something else, James said. What? Your father left a letter. He handed me a sealed envelope. My hands shook as I opened it. The handwriting was unmistakable. I read the first line and stopped. Ethan, if you're reading this, you're old enough to choose your own path. My throat tightened. James quietly said, take your time. I kept reading. My father wrote that he never wanted me to depend on his money. He wanted me to earn my place and build something I could call my own. I folded the letter carefully. He knew me too well, I whispered. James smiled faintly. He was your father. I looked at the folder again. Who is Marcus Reed? James closed the folder. That's the man you need to meet next. Why? Because he can tell you what your father really built. My phone suddenly buzzed. I looked down. 3 pictures from Olivia. In every picture, Ryan was beside her. I stared at the screen. James asked, "Is everything okay?" I locked my phone. Yes. For once, I didn't reply to Olivia. And that silence felt strangely powerful. I had spent years explaining myself to Olivia, but that morning, I finally understood that silence could be an answer too. I left James's office with the leather folder under my arm and Olivia's unanswered messages on my phone. I told myself I was going to focus on my father, but Olivia's pictures kept appearing in my mind. I was halfway to my car when my phone rang. It was Marcus Reed. Ethan? Yes. James told me you came by. I did. Can you meet me this afternoon? Where? My office. I hesitated. Why? Because there are things about your father that James can't explain. I looked at the folder. Okay, I'll come. Good. And Ethan? Yes. Bring your father's letter. I arrived at Marcus's office 2 hours later. He stood beside the window when I entered. You look just like him, he said. I frowned. You knew my father well. Very well. Then tell me why he hid all this from me. Marcus sighed. Because your father believed children shouldn't inherit their parents' dreams. So what did he want me to do? Build your own. I looked around the office. This company is huge. It wasn't when your father joined me. How big was it? 2 people, 1 rented room, and a computer that crashed every few hours. I almost smiled. That sounds like him. Marcus smiled too. He was stubborn. That definitely sounds like him. Marcus walked toward his desk. He could have made you wealthy years ago, but he refused. Why? Because he wanted you to learn how to stand without him. I looked down. My father never told me he was proud of me. Marcus's expression softened. He talked about you constantly. I looked up. What did he say? He said you were kind. I swallowed. That's all. He also said kindness would become your greatest strength or your greatest weakness. Those words hit me harder than I expected. Marcus opened a file. Your father left you 25% of this company. I know. But you're not getting a free ride. I raised an eyebrow. What does that mean? If you want to become part of this company, you work for it. How? Starting at the bottom. I laughed. You're serious? Completely. I thought about Olivia. Then I thought about my father. Okay. Marcus nodded. Good answer. Before I could say anything else, my phone buzzed again. Olivia. I looked at the screen but didn't answer. Marcus noticed. Problem. My girlfriend. Trouble. She chose her ex over our graduation trip. Marcus said nothing for a moment. Then he asked, "And you're still planning to chase her?" I shook my head. Not anymore. Good. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Ryan. I answered. Hello. Ethan. Yes. You and Olivia are still together. I tightened my grip on the phone. Why does that matter to you? He laughed softly. It matters more than you think. What do you want? I just wanted to talk. Then talk. I think Olivia deserves someone who can give her the life she wants. I felt anger rise inside me. Then go give her that life. Ryan laughed. You really don't understand. Maybe I don't. Enjoy your graduation, Ethan. The call ended. I stared at my phone. Marcus asked, "What did he say?" Nothing important. Marcus shook his head. You're about to learn something important. What? He pointed toward the file. Our company is preparing for an international deal. I looked at him. How big? Big enough to change everything. My heart began beating faster. When does it happen? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Marcus nodded. And if you want this opportunity, Ethan, you have to leave tomorrow. I barely slept that night. I kept thinking about Olivia, Ryan, my father, and the strange opportunity Marcus had placed in front of me. I called Chloe. "You're awake?" "Unfortunately," I said. "What happened?" "Marcus offered me a position." "That sounds good." "It is, but I have to leave tomorrow." There was silence. "Ethan, are you thinking about staying because of Olivia?" I stared at the ceiling. "I don't know." "Yes, you do." I sighed. "I'm scared." "Of leaving?" "No, of finding out who I am without her." Chloe was quiet for a moment. "You've spent years making Olivia part of every plan." "I know." "What happens if you make one plan that is only about you?" "I don't know." "Then find out." I looked at the leather folder on my desk. My father wanted me to build something myself. "Then maybe this is your chance." I smiled faintly. "I'm going." "Good." I hung up and sat there for several minutes. Then Olivia called. I answered. "Where are you?" "At home." "No, I mean where are you going tomorrow?" I froze. "How did you know?" "Ryan mentioned that you accepted some business opportunity." I felt my anger return. "You've been talking to him about me." "He told me. That's all." "I'm leaving for work." "For how long?" "I don't know." "Ethan, can we talk first?" "About what?" "Us." I closed my eyes. "There is no us to discuss right now." "That isn't fair." "You canceled our trip for Ryan." "I told you I needed time." "And I gave it to you." "Then why are you leaving?" "Because I have something important to do." "Are you trying to punish me?" "No." "Then why won't you tell me everything?" "Because I don't owe you every detail anymore." She became quiet. I almost apologized out of habit. Instead, I said, "I hope you find what you're looking for, Olivia." She whispered, "Ethan." I ended the call. For the first time, I didn't feel like I had abandoned her. I felt like I had finally stopped abandoning myself. The next morning, I walked into Marcus's office. He looked at me. "Have you made your decision?" "Yes." "What is it?" "I'll take the job." Marcus smiled. "Good. Then we start today." I nodded. "I'm ready." He handed me a thick folder. "Don't say that yet." I opened it. "What is this?" "Your first assignment." I stared at the pages. "You want me to finish all of this?" "I want you to try." "And if I fail?" "Then you learn." I looked at Marcus. "That's what my father would have said." Marcus nodded. "Exactly." I took the folder. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for Olivia to choose me. I was choosing myself. I left the office with the folder pressed against my chest. I felt nervous, but underneath the fear was something new. Purpose. My old life had been built around one question. Would Olivia stay? Now I had a different question. What could I become if I stopped waiting? I opened the folder in my car and read the first page. The assignment looked difficult. I almost called Olivia. My thumb hovered. Then I stopped. "No," I whispered. "Not this time." I put the phone away. Next few weeks would not be easy. I might fail. I knew Olivia might move further away. But none of that could decide my future. I started the engine. Tomorrow, I would leave the familiar world behind. I wasn't running away. I was moving forward. The next few weeks were harder than I expected. On my first day, Marcus looked at my work and frowned. "You missed 3 numbers." I checked the report. "I thought I fixed everything." "You thought." "I'll correct them." "Good. Don't make excuses." I swallowed my pride. "Understood." By the end of the day, I was exhausted. Marcus walked past my desk. "Going home?" "I still have work." "You've been staring at that screen for 10 hours." "I want to finish." "Your father used to say the same thing." I looked up. What happened to him? "He learned that working harder doesn't always mean working smarter." I smiled. "That sounds like something I needed to hear." "You'll hear it again." I kept working. The next morning, I made another mistake. Marcus placed the report on my desk. "You missed the deadline." "I know." "Why?" "I wanted it to be perfect." And because of that, it became useless. I lowered my head. I understand. No, Ethan. You don't. You're still trying to prove you're worthy. I looked at him. Maybe I am. To me. I shook my head. To myself. Marcus sat across from me. Then stop comparing yourself to Ryan. I froze. How did you know? Because every time you make a mistake, you look like you're losing a competition nobody asked you to enter. His words stayed with me. That evening, Chloe called. How's the new job? Terrible. She laughed. Already? I made mistakes. Everyone does. Marcus doesn't seem impressed. Maybe that's good. Why? Because you're finally doing something difficult. I leaned back. I miss home. Do you miss Olivia? I hesitated. Sometimes. Do you want her back? I don't know. That means you're healing. I smiled. Maybe. Then my phone buzzed. Olivia. I answered. Hello. Why aren't you answering me anymore? I was silent. She continued. You used to call me every night. I've been busy. With what? Work. You've changed. I had to. Because of me? I took a breath. No. Because of me. She didn't speak. Then she asked, Are you seeing someone? No. Then why are you acting like this? I looked out the window. Because I finally realized I don't have to. She went silent. I could hear her breathing. Ethan. I need to go. Wait. I paused. Do you still love me? The question hurt. Yes, I said honestly, but that doesn't mean I'll keep waiting for you. I ended the call. For several minutes, I sat quietly. I expected to feel guilty. Instead, I felt free. Meanwhile, Ryan's behavior toward Olivia was becoming harder for her to ignore. I didn't know everything happening between them, but Olivia started calling me more often. One evening, she said, Ryan isn't who I remembered. I asked, What happened? He keeps talking about money. That's not my problem. I know. Then don't make it mine. She sighed. I think I made a mistake. I closed my eyes. Maybe. Can we talk when you come back? We'll see. I ended the call. The next morning, Marcus called me into his office. You're going home tomorrow? I stared at him. Already? For an important meeting. Okay. He smiled. And this time, you're not flying commercial. I arrived at the airport before sunrise, carrying one small bag and trying not to think about Olivia. Marcus walked beside me. Are you nervous? A little. Good. Nervous people pay attention. James joined us. Ethan, the executives are already on their way. I nodded. What exactly is this meeting about? Marcus smiled. You'll find out when we land. That doesn't make me less nervous. It isn't supposed to. I laughed quietly. For the first time in weeks, I felt excited about something that had nothing to do with Olivia. Then I heard a familiar voice behind me. Ethan. I stopped. I turned around. Olivia stood near the entrance with another woman I didn't recognize. Olivia. She stared at me. What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing. She looked at my bag, then at Marcus and James. Who are they? This is Marcus Reed. This is James Wilson. Marcus offered his hand. Nice to meet you. Olivia barely noticed. She kept looking at me. Why didn't you tell me you were coming home? I didn't think I needed to. Her expression tightened. I'm Olivia's friend, Natalie, the woman beside her said. Nice to meet you, Natalie. She smiled politely. Hi, Ethan. Olivia looked past me. Where are you going? To a meeting. What meeting? A business meeting. With them? Yes. She pointed toward the runway. Then why are you walking toward a private jet? I paused. Because that's how we're traveling. Her eyes widened. Are you seriously leaving on that plane? I looked at her. Yes. With them? Yes. She stared at me for several seconds. Ethan, who are you? I took a slow breath. I'm finally finding out. She shook her head. You can't be serious. I am. Did you suddenly become rich? No. Then what's happening? My father left me an ownership stake in Marcus's company. Her mouth opened slightly. Your father? Yes. You never told me. I didn't know until recently. Marcus glanced at his watch. We should go. Olivia stepped closer. Wait. I stopped. Did you do this to make me jealous? No. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't know you'd be here. She looked down. For the first time, I saw something I hadn't seen in her eyes before. Regret. But I didn't feel victorious. I only felt tired. Natalie touched Olivia's arm. Maybe we should let him go. Olivia looked at me. I just wanted to talk. We can talk later. Will you call me? I hesitated. I don't know. Her face fell. Marcus called my name again. I turned toward the jet. Behind me, Olivia said quietly, Ethan, I'm sorry. I didn't turn around. I kept walking. For once, I wasn't walking away from her. I was walking toward my future. Inside the jet, Marcus sat across from me. You handled that well. I wanted to say more. But you didn't. I almost did. James smiled. That is progress. I looked through the window at the airport below. Do you think I was too cold? Marcus shook his head. No. You were controlled. I nodded. The engine started. As the jet lifted into the sky, I watched my hometown disappear beneath the clouds. For the first time, I didn't wonder whether Olivia was watching me leave. I wondered where my own life would take me next. I still loved her, but I was beginning to understand that love could remain in my heart without remaining in my future. That truth scared me, yet I felt free. The moment we landed, I followed Marcus and James into a waiting car. I wanted to focus on the meeting, but Olivia's face kept coming back to me. James noticed. You're thinking about her. I looked out the window. Is it that obvious? Very. Marcus laughed. Don't worry. Your first major meeting is tomorrow. You'll have plenty of other things to think about. I smiled. I hope so. We arrived at the hotel, and Marcus handed me a folder. Read this before dinner. What is it? Information about the company. I opened it. James sat across from me. There is something you should know before tomorrow. I looked up. What? It's about Ryan. My expression changed. What about him? James opened his briefcase. His father is Robert Mitchell. I know. Robert's company once worked with your father. I stared at him. You said once? They had a serious disagreement. About what? Money, ownership, and a technology project. I closed the folder. Was my father involved? Yes. How? Your father believed Robert tried to take control of something they had built together. My stomach tightened. And what happened? The partnership ended. Did my father lose money? Some. Then why didn't he tell me? Because he didn't want you involved. Marcus leaned forward. Your father walked away from the deal rather than fight publicly. Why? He believed protecting his family mattered more than winning. I looked down. That sounds like him. James continued. But the story didn't end there. I looked at him. What do you mean? Robert kept the company. And now? Now his company is struggling. I frowned. Why are you telling me this? Because Ryan recently returned. I felt a cold feeling in my chest. You think that's connected? We don't know yet. Marcus shook his head. Don't make conclusions before you have facts. I won't. James closed his briefcase. There is one more thing. What? Ryan met Robert shortly before contacting Olivia. I stared at him. Are you saying Ryan came back because of my company? I'm saying we need to find out. My phone vibrated. Olivia. I looked at the message but didn't open it. Marcus asked, Are you going to answer? No. Why? Because every time I talk to her, I start questioning myself. James nodded. Then don't make an emotional decision tonight. I put my phone face down. I won't. Later that evening, I called Chloe. So, she said, I heard you arrived like a movie star. I laughed. Who told you? Your mother. Of course. How was Olivia? I hesitated. Surprised. Only surprised. She apologized. Chloe became quiet. What did you say? Nothing. You didn't say anything. I couldn't. Why? Because part of me still wanted to forgive her. And the other part? The other part remembers why I'm here. Chloe sighed, then listened to the second part. I smiled. I will. After the call, I opened Olivia's message. It said, I don't know what happened to us, but I know I miss you. I stared at those words for a long time. Then I locked my phone. I wasn't ready to answer. The next morning, Marcus walked into the conference room. Ready? I nodded. Ready. He placed a document in front of me. Then read this carefully. I looked at the first page. My father's name was printed beside Robert Mitchell's. I looked at Marcus. What is this? Marcus's expression became serious. An old agreement. James entered the room and closed the door. I asked, what does it mean? James looked directly at me. Ryan didn't come back because he missed Olivia. I waited. He came back because he needed something. The next morning, I sat across from James with my father's old agreement between us. What exactly are we looking for? I asked. Connections, James said. Money transfers, contracts, meetings, anything that explains why Ryan suddenly returned. And Robert? His company is in trouble. How bad? Bad enough that he needs a major investor within weeks. I frowned. Could my company save him? Possibly. Then Ryan came back for access. We don't know that yet. I looked at the documents. Where should I start? James handed me another file. Look at the recent communications. I opened it. Several names appeared, followed by dates and company records. Then I saw Ryan's name. He contacted one of our executives. 3 times. When? Shortly after he returned. I leaned back. That can't be a coincidence. No, but coincidence isn't proof. I kept reading. Ryan had asked about investors, business partnerships, and meetings connected to my father's company. I felt my anger rising. He was never interested in Olivia. James shook his head. Don't assume that. Then what am I supposed to think? Think carefully. My phone rang. It was Olivia. I stared at the screen. James asked, Are you going to answer? I took a breath. Yes. Ethan. I'm here. Can we talk? About what? Ryan. I became silent. What happened? I found out he wasn't honest with me. What did he lie about? He told me he came back because he missed me. And you believed him? Yes. Her voice cracked. What changed? I asked him why he kept asking about your company. I closed my eyes. What did he say? He became angry. What exactly did he say? He told me I was asking too many questions. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Olivia, where are you? Outside your house. I looked toward the window. You came here. Yes. I ended the call and walked outside. Olivia stood near the driveway. You shouldn't have come. I know. What do you want? I need to tell you the truth. I crossed my arms. I'm listening. She looked down. I made a mistake. I felt my chest tighten. You didn't make one mistake. You made a choice. I know. You chose Ryan. I thought he was the future I wanted. And now? Now I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't answer. She looked at me. I thought he had everything. Money, confidence, connections. And I didn't. You had something different. What? Something I didn't appreciate. I looked away. She continued. I didn't realize what I would lose by choosing him. I swallowed. You lost me because you chose to. Tears filled her eyes. Can you forgive me? I wanted to say yes. Part of me still loved her. But another part remembered the cancelled trip, the unanswered questions, and the way she had chosen Ryan without looking back. Maybe, I said. But forgiveness doesn't mean I have to come back. She nodded slowly. I understand. I looked at her. Do you? I think I'm finally starting to. She wiped her eyes. I never thought you'd actually walk away. That was my mistake too. What do you mean? I made you believe I'd always wait. She looked at me for several seconds. I wish you had told me this before. I wish you had listened before. Neither of us spoke. Then my phone rang. It was James. Ethan, come back to the office. Why? I found something important. I looked at Olivia. I have to go. She nodded. As I walked away, I realized my anger wasn't as strong as before. That scared me more than anger ever had. Because now I had a choice. Forgive her and risk reopening the wound, or walk away and finally protect the life I was building. I returned to James's office that evening. What did you find? I asked. James didn't answer immediately. He placed a thin envelope on the desk. Before you open this, promise me something. What? You won't use this information out of anger. I looked at him. I can't promise that. Marcus stepped closer. Then promise you'll think before you act. I nodded. Fine. James pushed the envelope toward me. Open it. I pulled out several printed messages. What am I looking at? Messages between Ryan and one of his business contacts. I read the first page. My hands became cold. What is this? Read the date. I looked again. It was dated 2 weeks before Ryan contacted Olivia. I continued reading. Ryan had asked about my financial situation, my graduation plans, and whether I had any connection to my father's company. I looked up. He was investigating me. Yes. Why? James gave me another page. This is the important part. I read the message. Ryan had written that Olivia would eventually leave me because I couldn't give her the lifestyle she wanted. I stared at the words. He really thought I was worthless. Marcus shook his head. He thought you were powerless. I laughed bitterly, and he was wrong. Yes. I kept reading. Then I saw another message. Ryan had written that he needed Olivia close to him because she could help him get introduced to people connected to my father's company. My jaw tightened. So that's why he came back. James nodded. He saw you as an obstacle. I folded the papers. I want to confront him. Marcus immediately said, Why? Because he used Olivia. And what will confronting him change? Nothing. Then don't give him your anger. I looked at Marcus. You're telling me to do nothing? No. I'm telling you to do the smart thing. I sat down. For months, I had wanted someone to regret hurting me. Now I had proof that Ryan had planned parts of it. Part of me wanted to expose him. Another part remembered Olivia standing in my driveway, crying and asking for forgiveness. I called Chloe. What's wrong? She asked. I found out why Ryan came back. Why? He wanted access to my father's company. She was silent. And Olivia? She knew nothing. Do you believe her? I thought about it. Yes. Then what are you going to do? I don't know. Chloe sighed. Ethan, you can forgive Olivia without taking her back. I know. No, you need to really understand it. I stayed quiet. Forgiveness isn't a reward for her, Chloe continued. It's a way for you to stop carrying this anger. I looked at the documents. What if I still love her? You can love someone and still know they're wrong for you. Her words hit me hard. I hate how reasonable you are. She laughed. Someone has to be. After the call, I looked at James. What happens to Ryan now? That depends on what he does next. And Robert? His company is already struggling. Will we help him? James shook his head. We aren't responsible for saving a company built on bad decisions. I nodded. For the first time, I understood something. Revenge wasn't the same as justice. I didn't need to destroy Ryan. I only needed to stop him from destroying me. James placed one final document in front of me. There is more. I looked down. What is it? James's expression turned serious. This proves Ryan knew exactly what he was doing. I stared at the document James had placed in front of me. So this proves Ryan planned it. Yes, James said. He knew about your father's company before he contacted Olivia. And he used her to get closer to it. That appears to be the case. I looked at Marcus. What can we do with this? Legally? James asked. Quite a lot. Then let's destroy him. Marcus shook his head. No. I frowned. Why not? Because you're still thinking like the man you were 6 months ago. What does that mean? You want him to hurt because he hurt you. I looked away. Would that be so wrong? It won't make you happier. I don't need happiness. I need justice. James closed the folder. Justice doesn't mean revenge, Ethan. I stayed silent. Marcus continued. Robert's company is already collapsing because of decisions they made themselves. We don't need to push them. So we walk away. We protect our company and finish the deal. I took a deep breath. Then that's what I'll do. The next weeks became the hardest weeks of my life. Every morning, I worked with Marcus and the executives. Every night, I reviewed contracts until my eyes hurt. One evening, Marcus walked into my office. You're still here? Yes. You've been working since 7. I want to finish. You're starting to sound like your father again. I smiled. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. No. But remember what he taught you. Work hard, but don't forget why you're working. I looked at the contract on my desk. I think I'm finally starting to understand. The international deal was signed 3 days later. When Marcus shook my hand, I felt something I had never felt before. Not pride because Olivia might see me. Not satisfaction because Ryan had failed. Just pride in myself. Marcus smiled. Your father would have been proud. I swallowed. I wish I could hear him say that. You don't need to. I looked at him. What do you mean? You already know what he would say. I smiled. Thank you. Later that evening, I called my mother. Mom. Ethan, how did it go? We closed the deal. She laughed. I knew you could do it. I almost gave up. But you didn't. No. She became quiet. Are you happy? I thought about the past few months. Yes. Really? Yes. For the first time, I think I am truly now. After the call, I received a message from Olivia. Can we meet one last time? I stared at the screen. I almost ignored her. Then I remembered everything we had been through. I replied, tomorrow. The next afternoon, I met her at a cafe. She looked nervous. I won't keep you long, she said. Okay. She took a breath. I was wrong. I didn't answer. I hurt you because I was chasing something I thought I wanted. I looked at her. Do you still want it? She shook her head. No. Then what do you want? She looked down. I wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't feel angry. I believe you. She looked up. You do? Yes. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you. I nodded. But Olivia, forgiveness doesn't mean we go back. I know. And I'm not angry anymore. She whispered, Goodbye, Ethan. I stood. Goodbye, Olivia. I walked outside feeling lighter than I had in years. I drove home slowly, thinking about everything that had happened since Olivia cancelled our trip. When I entered my room, I opened the drawer beside my desk. The old graduation tickets were still there. I picked them up. For a moment, I remembered the night I bought them. I had smiled while imagining Olivia beside me. I had believed those tickets were proof that our future was already planned. Now they were only proof of how much I had changed. My mother knocked. Can I come in? Sure, Mom. She sat beside me. What are you holding? Our old trip tickets. She looked at them. Are they still important to you? I thought about it. They used to be. And now? I smiled. Now they are just memories. She nodded. That's a good thing. I placed the tickets back in the drawer. I used to think losing Olivia meant losing my future. And what do you think now? I think I confused my future with one person. Mom smiled. You finally learned. I closed the drawer. I wish I had learned sooner. Maybe you had to learn it this way. I sat quietly. Mom. Yes. Do you think Dad knew I'd end up here? She smiled sadly. I think your father knew you'd find your way eventually. I looked at the leather folder on my desk. He left me more than money. He left you a choice. I nodded. That was the real gift. The next morning, Marcus called. Ethan, we're going to need you at the office. What's happening? Good news. What kind? The international partners want you to lead the next stage. I laughed. Me? Yes, you. I thought I was still learning. You are. Then why me? Because you're ready to learn at a higher level. I smiled. I'll be there. After hanging up, I looked out the window. Months earlier, I had been afraid of a future without Olivia. Now I was excited about it. I finally understood that success wasn't about making someone regret losing me. It wasn't about boarding a private jet while someone watched. It wasn't about Ryan losing his business. Those things were only moments. The real victory was quieter. I had stopped asking someone else to decide my worth. I had stopped waiting for Olivia to choose me. I had chosen myself. That evening, I walked past the drawer containing the old tickets. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The memories could stay where they belonged. I finally understood that moving forward did not mean forgetting the past. In the past, I thought about the private jet again. For a while, I had believed that moment was my victory. It wasn't. My victory happened much earlier. It happened when Olivia called and canceled our trip, and I finally decided not to chase her. It happened when I accepted my father's opportunity. It happened when I failed, learned, and kept going. It happened when I saw the truth about Ryan and chose not to become cruel. And it happened when Olivia apologized, and I forgave her without asking her to return. I walked into the office the next morning with my father's letter in my pocket. The first line still stayed in my mind. Choose your own path. I smiled. For the first time, I wasn't following someone else's path. I was building my own. And this time, I wasn't afraid of where it would lead.